Episode 4, Breaking the Lineage Distorted Signal, Lineage Blueprints, Identifying Transgenerational Imprints, How to Spot Inherited Toxic Structures in Your Life. Now, let's start by the hidden interference. When the new identity begins stabilizing, something often happens that surprises people. Old toxic patterns return. Suddenly, there are strong waves of confusion, doubt, emotional loops, despair that seems disproportionate to the moment, and many people conclude, something must be wrong with me. Maybe this transformation was not real. Maybe I imagined the whole process. But often, something deeper is happening. The interference is not always personal. It is lineage-based. You are encountering distorted transgenerational imprints. What are lineage blueprints? Lineage blueprints are inherited psychological and energetic structures that travel through families across generations. Science now confirms this through epigenetics. Research shows that trauma and stress responses can be inherited through changes in gene expression. For example, children and grandchildren of trauma survivors often carry altered stress responses in the nervous system. Their biology remembers events they did not personally experience. Psychologist Carl Jung describes something similar through the concept of the collective unconscious. He wrote, "The unconscious is not just personal, it contains the heritage of the entire human species." Spiritual traditions have long described the same idea through different language. Ancestral karma, lineage patterns, inherited archetypes, family contracts. These patterns are often lodged in the interface between what many traditions call the causal body or the karmic pattern storage and the spiritual body or higher identity. When awakening and embodiment begins, these old patterns resurface strongly because they can no longer remain hidden and carried forward. Why this phase can be so disorienting? Lineage patterns are powerful because they are often invisible scripts that do not pertain to this lifetime. They operate through loyalty to family roles, unconscious emotional agreement, inherited beliefs about survival, abuse and self-erasure patterns for the sake of cultural or religious patterns, perpetuation of sexual taboos, forbidden subjects or ideas, conformity, and blind obedience in exchange for belonging to a tribe, patriarchal domination and suppression of matriarchal aspects engendering power imbalance, arbitrary rules and condemnation of truth for the sake of domination. For example, someone may carry patterns such as martyrdom, self-sacrifice, scarcity, silence, emotional suppression, addiction cycles, betrayal or abandonment patterns. These structures can suddenly activate during spiritual stabilization, and when they do, they can pull a person into deep emotional loops. This is why many people experience intense doubt at this stage. But what is surfacing is not failure. It is the final interference before stabilization, as we lay the heavy, invisible burden that was never ours to carry. The souls who came to break the pattern through their frequency. They are individual in every lineage who arrive with a different role. They are pattern breakers. The ones who question, who feel deeply, who have the courage to heal deeply at the level of their lineage. The ones who refuse to continue cycles of unnecessary suffering. the ones who sense that something in the lineage must end now. For these souls, life can feel especially intense, because they are not only living their own path, they are interrupting a historical pattern. This work requires courage. It requires what can sometimes feel like psychic surgery, but its impact is enormous, because when one person clears a pattern, the shift does not only affect them. As the mystics always knew, it reverberates across generations. To be precise, 7 generations forward and 7 backwards. Even science recognizes that our DNA carries several generations worth of data. The feeling of being watched. Many people report something interesting when they begin consciously addressing lineage patterns. They feel watched, not in a threatening way, but in a sense of being witnessed, supported, and guided. This feeling can arise because psychologically and spiritually you are stepping into a role that affects an entire lineage system. Family systems theory suggests that when one member of a system changes deeply, the entire system reorganizes. So when you break a pattern consciously, you are not acting alone. You are shifting the structure of the lineage itself and the collective at large. Honoring the gifts of the lineage. It is important to remember something. Your lineage does not only carry wounds, it also carries gifts, talents, strengths, skills, ways of perceiving, resilience. Many abilities we possess come directly from our ancestors. Examples include artistic talents, healing abilities, intellectual gifts, craftsmanship, spiritual sensitivity, courage, and resilience in adversity. The goal is not to reject the lineage. The goal is to discern, to release what is harmful, and to expand what is life-giving. Why this often intensifies after 40? Many people notice that lineage patterns become especially visible in the second half of life. Psychologists have observed that around midlife, existential, deeper identity questions surface. Carl Jung noted that individuation, the process of becoming one's authentic self, often intensifies after the age of 40. He wrote, "Life really begins at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research." During this phase, people often confront inherited patterns they previously ignored or unconsciously followed. The psyche demands resolution, not suppression, which is why many spiritual awakenings deepen dramatically after midlife. The identity shift required. Breaking lineage patterns requires something essential: total de-identification. You must recognize that the pattern is not your identity. It is a structure you inherited, but you are not required to continue it, to suffer because of it. And once this becomes clear, a new possibility emerges. You begin stabilizing and establishing a new clean lineage signal. One based on clarity, sovereignty, truth, authenticity, life-honoring, emotional maturity, conscious choice. You become the ancestor who changes the pattern, who gives the lineage a clean slate through vibrational wipe and purging. Practice. Number 1. Identifying lineage blueprints. Take time to reflect on your family history, your genealogy tree. Ask yourself the following questions. What emotional patterns repeat across generations? Examples: abandonment, betrayals, addictions, scarcity, emotional repression, persecution and prosecution, hypervigilance, bondage, What roles did people tend to play? Examples: the rescuer, the hero, the martyr, the silent sufferer, the scapegoat. Ask, what beliefs about life were passed down? Examples: life is a struggle. You must sacrifice yourself. Success leads to punishment. You must never outshine the family. Now ask yourself, which of these patterns still operate in my life? Recognition is the first step in releasing them. Practice 2. Energetic clearing of lineage imprints. Sit quietly, close your eyes. Take 3 slow deep breaths. Imagine a long line of ancestors standing behind you. Some you know, some you do not. Acknowledge them with respect and honor. Then say internally, I honor your lives and your struggles, but the patterns of suffering end with me. Visualize energetic cords of inherited patterns dissolving. You are not rejecting your ancestors, you are ending the toxic loops. Now imagine light moving through your spine and forward into the future, and say, a new lineage begins here. Take a deep breath and let go. Open your eyes. The courage of the trailblazers. Those who break lineage patterns are pioneers. They walk paths that were not walked before, which means there will be moments of uncertainty and isolation. But every time you refuse to repeat the old structure, something profound happens. A new signal enters the lineage, and a tear is created in the fabric of the matrix. And over time, that signal becomes the new blueprint. Closing reflection. You are not just healing yourself. You are reshaping the architecture of an entire lineage and the collective at large. You are the moment where unconscious inheritance becomes conscious evolution. You are the point where the harmful unconscious pattern stops, and something new, something real, something true begins. If you recognize yourself as a pattern breaker, write in the comments, the lineage resets with me. The repatterning practice and installation of the new signal. Recognizing and releasing inherited patterns is a powerful step, but awareness alone does not stabilize new identity. When an old lineage signal dissolves, the nervous system temporarily enters unfamiliar territory. The body and mind have been conditioned for years, sometimes generations, to operate within those inherited patterns. So after the interference is seen and released, something equally important must happen. A new signal must be installed and practiced consistently. This is where daily coherence practices become essential. One of the most powerful ways to stabilize this new identity and prevent the system from slipping back into old programs is through a simple but profound tool: gratitude. Not as forced positivity, but as a biological and energetic practice that trains the nervous system to broadcast coherence. The Gratitude Broadcaster Protocol. As we stabilize in a new identity and frequency, something important becomes clear. Holding a new state is not just about insight. It is about training the nervous system to broadcast coherence consistently. One of the most powerful tools for this stabilization is gratitude, not as forced positive attitude, but as neurobiological and energetic alignment practice. Gratitude changes how the brain processes reality. Studies show that gratitude practices activates regions of the brain associated with emotional regulation, dopamine production, long-term well-being, cardiovascular stability. In other words, gratitude literally upgrades the biological hardware through which we experience life. When practiced intentionally, gratitude turns us from reactive antennas into coherent broadcasters. The Gratitude Broadcaster Micro Practice. This practice has 3 simple phases that align with the natural rhythm of the day: morning, midday, evening. Number 1. Quantum priming in the morning. Before you even open your eyes in the morning, identify 3 specific things you are grateful for. But do not just list them, feel them. If you are grateful for your morning coffee, do not just think the word coffee. Recall the warmth of the mug in your hands, the aroma rising from the cup, the quiet moment before the day begins. This sensory appreciation moves the experience from abstract thoughts, a wave, into a felt experience in the body, a particle. Your nervous system begins to broadcast coherence instead of scarcity. Before you start your day, pause and notice something. You just changed the signal of your nervous system from scarcity to coherence, from reaction to presence. If you try this tomorrow morning, comment below. I start the day in coherence. Number 2, the interference filter during stress. Throughout the day, you will encounter noise, stressful conversations, negative environments, difficult people. In those moments, the goal is not to suppress reality. The goal is to filter interference. Instead of absorbing the emotional chaos of the situation, consciously identify one thing you can appreciate about the moment. For example, I am grateful for this chance to practice my sovereignty. This simple shift works like biological noise cancelling. Your nervous system stays regulated instead of becoming entangled in the emotional turbulence of the environment. You remain the broadcasting tower, not the antenna. Every time you refuse to absorb chaos and instead stabilize your signal, you reclaim your sovereignty. That is what real energetic mastery looks like. Not control over others, but control over your own broadcast. If you are practicing this shift, write, I am the broadcasting tower. Number 3, the gratitude tunnel to do in the evening. Before sleep, mentally travel back through your day. Look for the small moments that often go unnoticed, like the green light that saved you time, a kind word from a stranger, a quiet moment of peace, or simply the fact that your body breathed for you all day without asking. This practice strengthens neural pathways associated with appreciation and safety. Over time, gratitude becomes the brain's default broadcast setting. Why this practice works? Integrated living means that your internal state and external behavior align. You are in coherence. The wave and the particle match. Gratitude stabilizes this alignment. Scientifically, gratitude reduces blood pressure, improves cardiovascular health, regulates the nervous system. Energetically, gratitude moves us from reactive victimhood to intentional participation in reality. Instead of absorbing the noise and static of the world, we begin transmitting a signal that shapes our experiences. Using the broadcaster mindset for scarcity thoughts. Scarcity thinking is one of the most common disruptions to coherence. Scarcity sounds like, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough support. Scarcity places the nervous system in high noise survival mode. The broadcaster protocol helps shift that signal. Step 1. The frequency flip. Instead of fighting the scarcity thought, gently reframe the broadcast. Find a macro grain of abundance in the present moment. Example: instead of focusing only on a bill, acknowledge the service it represents and say, I am grateful for the electricity that powered my home this month and the ability to pay for it. I am abundant. This shifts the emotional signal from fear to appreciation, and that changes the information your nervous system sends to the brain. Number 2, radical self-trust. Scarcity often reflects a lack of trust in our ability to create and receive. So remind yourself of moments when you navigated uncertainty successfully. Recall a time when a problem seemed impossible and you still found a way through. This restores a sense of capability into the present moment. You stop broadcasting fear about the future. You start broadcasting confidence in your ability to respond. Step 3. The positivity pause. When a scarcity thought appears, the brain's amygdala immediately activates a threat response. Pause. Take one slow, deep breath. Then deliberately notice something that already works in your life. It can be simple: warm sunlight, a supportive message, your own breath. This is not toxic positivity, it is training the nervous system to return to coherence. The physics of the shift. When gratitude stabilizes the nervous system, perception changes. A coherent mind can reorganize and recognize opportunities that a fear-based mind literally cannot see. So the shift is not magical, it is perceptual. When the broadcast changes, the feedback from reality changes as well, and so does your perception. Closing reflection. The question is not whether you are transmitting. You already are, in every instant. The real question is, are you broadcasting unconsciously or intentionally? Because the signal you stabilize becomes the reality you begin to experience. If you are ready to stabilize a new signal in your life, comment "new broadcast." And if you want deeper support in this process, subscribe to download the free companion ebook Energy is Everything, Using Science and Spirit to Master Vibrational Reality. And to celebrate the launch of my practice on Heal Me, book a free 20-minute discovery call. Still Fire 1111? The frequency calls, the fire rises, and now it radiates. Enter at your own shift. Heal deep, rise sovereign. Welcome.